So it's an absolutely massive week which is ahead of us for the crypto markets, which is why I'm bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom on a Saturday. So please make sure you smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel, because in today's show, we're going to have a look at when is the best time, the most optimal time to get exposure to the altcoin sector, since, you know, the majority of the altcoins are still suffering and coming down. You have to be very, very selective in which coins you've been picking if you were to be making money within these current conditions. And it's one of the most important weeks for crypto because, of course, we're coming into the US elections. We just received yesterday the unemployment rate data, which came out a little bit of a nothing burger, but that's one roadblock out of the way, because the market hates uncertainty, and waiting for those events to play out ultimately is before the market decides which way things are going to go. They won't step in front of any trades until these uncertain times come to pass, right? So we're waiting for, of course, the FOMC meeting, which is going to be coming up, the interest rate decision, as well as, of course, the US elections, which is, of course, going to be the absolute biggest event when it comes to the markets. And you have the stock market, which is slightly pulled back. This is, of course, on into Friday's close. It's pretty much as per our little drawings over here. We outlined the area of significance. So as we come into next week, expect a little bit of volatility into the markets. But as long as you know your levels, you should be okay. And the levels are this, right? You got your major low, you got a high low, and the expectation would be that you should find some level of support coming into this low region over here, which is anywhere between about $5,000 and $5,500 for the S&P 500 futures chart over there. And then remember, we're also looking to try and time when the cycle may end. Now, this is, of course, going to affect when you should make your decision to get optimally allocated, at least into the crypto markets, into the altcoin sector. Give or take, we're looking at somewhere between about 6 to 12 more months for this bull run. And typically the final phase of the bull run tends to occur a lot quicker than what most people would expect, right? So we're looking for the breakdown in the DXY while the S&P 500 bounces from these regions leading into that election phase. And if we do get a proper rejection over here and you map out the trajectory of the breakdown for the DXY, well, you can see you'd be looking to find some sort of a bottom anywhere between about April and October of next year, right? Which is how we got that target of about 6 to 12 months left. That's at least one of the ways that we got the target. The other thing that we're looking at over here is, of course, the breakdown of the USDT dominance. And again, if we put this in terms of a trajectory and it were to follow the similar trajectory which has been going through right now, well, you would see sometime around December, possibly into January, is where you should be finding that bottom over there, which means that, you know, anywhere between now and December is probably a decent time to start to look to allocate into altcoins, as long as you're picking these strong ones, the ones that are in an uptrend against BTC, as well as in an uptrend against their USD pair. Now, you can see the long to short ratio over here has, well, just reset right before us, but it was sitting at 51 to 49. So 51% of the market still looking for predominant shorts over there. And remember, we played out a massive liquidation over the last 48 hours. And again, another one over the last 24 hours, mostly on the long side with 222 million. The day before, I think we're sitting at about 260 million worth of liquidations. And this tends to create those major turning points within the market. So if we look at the monthly chart, everything's still looking good. Remember the big SR flip that's taking place over here. But I wanted to have a look at the prior cycle to see, you know, approximately if we take from this October candle and we were to actually break out in a similar way, following a similar trajectory, well, what exactly would that look like? So if we take from this October candle over here and we run it all the way to the top over there, and we just use simply this to track where price may go, you know, this could be what happens, right? This could be what happens. This is how quickly things run towards the upside. And you can see that takes price up to about that $120,000 mark. And remember, you're coming off of this huge cup and handle formation over here. And if you were to measure this, if you go with a more aggressive approach, taking that as the neckline, which is the red line over there, and we measure this up over here, well, you can see it actually lines up to a very, very similar trajectory. So it's interesting and it's food for thought, right? Because if November turns out to be a big month, that should initiate the start of the upward momentum move. And, you know, you'd be looking at the end of this move somewhere around April to May of 2025. And this is typically where the altcoins receive their best performance within the market cycle, right? So keep an eye out on that. We'll track this alongside the fear and greed. I do want to remind you, if we put on the fear and greed index, when it holds in that 90 to 100 zone, well, that's pretty much the period that I just measured out on this chart over here. This is that period from October leading up to the cycle top. You could be seeing then something similar to that. So I think it's very, very important that we keep an eye out on that fear and greed. Right now, we're still sitting in the 70 to 80 region, more specifically the low 70. So we haven't really ticked over into that extreme greed phase. But as long as you're mentally prepared that when we do gear up and you start to move into this 90 to 100 zone and we do start to break out, understand that the cycle could end a lot quicker than most people would care to believe, right? So in terms of trying to time when that cycle top may potentially occur, we can also have a look at something like this. This is the Pi cycle top indicator, and you can see it's nailed every single one of the previous moves literally within a matter of 3 days. And ultimately what it looks at is it looks at the 111-day moving average, simple moving average that is, and then it looks at the 350-day simple moving average times 2. And what you would expect to occur is, of course, the red moving average, the low one, the 111, the low time frame one, should increase with extreme speed and momentum and cross above the long-term one, which is the 350-day simple times 2. And usually that overextension tends to cause the major cycle tops, as marked by these vertical dotted lines running down the screen. So to give you some perspective of where we're at now, you see this was the prior cycles over there. This was the next one that we had. Where are we at right now? Well, we're nowhere near that, right? You can see price is still hovering all the way down here. So in order for price to catch up, if it had to get above this 350-day simple moving average times 2, that would be $116,000. And again, if we look at this target over here, it has a measured move into that about $120,000 region should we follow a similar trajectory. So I think it's food for thought. I think it's something noteworthy to look at, and we'll have to monitor things as they do unfold. You can see timing wise as well, we've measured out how long does that Gaussian channel typically remain green for before you actually do start to break down. And this takes us out, for 120 bars from the moment that it turned green. That's 840 days of the weekly Gaussian channel running towards the upside. This is a trend trading tool, right? You can see price basing off of the bottom over there. That's essentially formed, part of that cup and handle formation, holding that as support and pushing towards the upside. And this is measured all the way out to November 2025. So again, give or take, your expectation should be between 6 and 12 months. As we get closer towards that 6-month time frame, we'll have to gauge the volatility and momentum to make a decision if it's time to start to take profits early, or if we're going to continue to remain in the market. At the end of the day, the most important thing for you, the viewer at home, to understand and to know is that this is just the very, very start of the breakout. Now, usually most people want to wait for confirmation when it feels good, right? They want to wait for confirmation of the breakout, waiting for it to feel good. And for them, that would probably mean continuation and a full-bodied green candle close over here. But understand, with each weekly candle that closes higher and higher up over here, every time you decide to enter in a week later and another week later, you're taking on a massive amount of additional risk, which you don't need to do, right? Because if you've been watching the show for a long time, you should have been adequately positioned literally all the way here since this candle occurred. Between $16,000 and $18,000 was the majority of our entry based on this candle over here, which ended the bear market off of the FTX collapse, right? That sideways price action over here showed us that something different is occurring. We went into backwardation, and ultimately the uptrend commenced. So for some people who are new to the market, they may feel that the bull run has just started, but in actual fact, the bull run's been going on for already 658 days, which is 94 weeks. And that's pretty much, over almost 2 years, right? It's about 2 years, give or take. We're around about 2-year mark into the bull run, and we're looking for the final year to be the big move over here. So when you look at the weekly time frame over here, what do you see? Well, you have price above the 21 exponential moving average. That's a healthy sign. You have not just 1, 2, but 3 candles which have at least not closed yet. We need to wait for the weekly close, but it looks more than likely that you're going to get the third candle close above this downsloping trend line, above the orange line, which is a clear SR flip region, prior resistance, now flipping into support. And then also, very, very importantly, you do have your stochastic RSI, which is now really starting to climb and reach into this territory. Now, many people view this as bearish, right? Many people believe that as it comes into this is your overbought territory and you should look to counter the move and sell. But I highlighted every single one of the previous times, which you can see over here by the pink boxes around the stochastic RSI. And every time it reached into that zone over there, you actually put in your biggest moves, right? You can see over here, this was one period over here. This led to a huge move towards the upside. If I just remove those highlightings, then I can actually zoom in and show you. It may not feel like much, right? But when you expand the chart a little bit and you have a look at that, once the stochastic RSI got into that region, well, that sent Bitcoin on a 333% move, right? The next one that occurred was over here. You can see that led Bitcoin into almost 100% move. The next one that occurred was over here. And if you measure that out, how far did that send Bitcoin? Well, ultimately, this took Bitcoin all the way up to the top over there, 434% move. And then we got the next one, which occurred over here. Not as big, right? But still pretty decent with a 60% move. We then got this one over here within this cycle. And you can see if you look at that, simply put, that took you in for a 60% move. And then you got this one over here, which ultimately led into the biggest move that we've had within this particular cycle, which is 164%. So the fact that the stochastic RSI is pushing into that zone, and we have this a sortium of confluence in the form of price breaking out of the top portion of the downsloping trend line over here, also known as the flag from your bull flag. You have price above the 21 exponential, price above the strong horizontals. We're playing out the Wyckoff accumulation schematic to a T, and you have 3 candle confirmation closes with this stretching into this region. This is all the making for the next major move, right? So everything is looking really good. If we look at the 5-day chart over here, we also have agreement with the prior analysis, which suggests that price is above the 3, the 9, and the 30 moving average. That's the yellow, the green, and the purple. And all of them are starting to angle towards the upside. The purple slightly lagging with price closing above that. That is the making of the start of a very, very strong trending move. And I can give you an example of how it played out previously. You can see over here, if you look at this period over here, we went through this period of chop as well. And ultimately, price started to close above those moving averages. At first, the yellow and the green were trending up, but the purple was still relatively flat. And then you start to move into those aggressive moves. So therefore, still pretty early in the start of the breakout over here. And you don't want to wait for too much higher for price to move into the $80,000 region in order for you to wait for that confirmation, right? So probably anywhere around here, you're looking for opportunities to still hold long and strong in the market. There's always going to be an invalidation. Personally, my invalidation would be this candle over here, which was a major wick that sent price towards the upside and started to at least shift the psychology within the market. So if price starts to hold under $60,000, that's where we have to reevaluate, and maybe we're going in for a much deeper correction at that point in time. But so far, we've been much more right on this particular channel than we have been wrong. And that's what I'm sticking with, right? That's what I'm sticking with. It's supported by the volatility expanding over here as price breaks out. ETH on the right-hand side, also low volatility, waiting for that to pick up. And probably, now is going to be the best time for you to pick the winning altcoins, which you're going to be holding for the rest of the cycle. Now, I don't advocate that you need to buy all in one day, but I think if you come with the mindset that you're looking to establish your positions and be fully entered 100% into the altcoin sector between the next 60 and 90 days, that can be done through dollar cost averaging, buying incrementally bit by bit, then that's probably going to be an approach at least that will reward you phenomenally well. Now, the reason that I say over the next 60 to 90 days is because the reality is that the majority of the altcoins are still suffering against Bitcoin. We've picked a lot of the ones that are very, very strong, the likes of Popcat, GigaChad, Solana. We looked at things like Mantra. These are some of the topics that we've had for the cycle that have been part of our core positions. But the true alt season tends to occur when the majority of the coins are moving in an uptrend against Bitcoin. And we haven't seen that yet, right? That's the reality. We haven't yet seen that. And we can look to Ethereum as one of the proxies for the altcoin market, or the indices for the altcoin market, to determine if there is health in the altcoin sector. And we haven't yet seen that, right? That's the truth. If we go through to the ETH BTC charts over here, well, you can see the ETH BTC ratio continues to move towards the downside. But we are looking timing wise, again, as mentioned, between now and January for some form of a bottom over there. And then from a fractal perspective, that's what ETH should do. If ETH does something like this, you can expect the majority of the altcoins will do phenomenally well. Now, if you do want to get adequately prepared, remember there is actually an amazing offer from at least Blowfin. So it's a Halloween offer over here. This is pretty much a once-off event where they have these spin the wheels and you actually have a chance to win 2 full Bitcoin. So if you are looking for an exchange to purchase some of those altcoins that you want to hold for the long term, Blowfin do hold the majority of those coins. Remember, they have one of the highest securities in the space. They use something called Fireblocks, which is the best third-party intermediary that custodies the funds, so that you can't have an FTX collapse type of event where pretty much they're going and investing the customers' funds that they're depositing onto the exchange. That's an impossibility with Blowfin. So one of the benefits beyond the fact that you can spin the wheel over here and you can potentially win 2 Bitcoin. 2 Bitcoin, an iPhone, Shiba Inu, TradingView membership. We have Tron over here. You have a futures bonus, Pepe coin, and you only have a 1 in 8 chance that you won't win anything. And I've been at least sharing this for the last couple of days because you only have 1 day and 8 hours left to participate in this win 2 Bitcoin campaign that's currently on. If you do participate in that, because you've signed up to Blowfin, you'll read underneath over here, this is the win a Bitcoin with Banter Bubbles campaign. So by signing up to Blowfin as well simultaneously, you can come through to at least Banter Bubbles over here, click win a Bitcoin, and that actually opens up the possibility that you could be winning 3 Bitcoin, right? So for those of you that are new here, you don't have an exchange to trade on, that's probably one of my highest recommendations. Go and have a look at that. And then, yeah, let's continue. Let's continue with the show. So that's your final chance to get in on that one. Let's have a look at the at least liquidation levels, right? If you look at the heat map over here, you got 42.92 million worth of liquidity on the top side. I looked across the various different timeframes. Let's quickly see what the weekly looks like. So a little bit lower on the weekly, about 78 million at 68,000. Let's give you the precise point, 68,300. Maybe one more sweep into that region. 48-hour also slightly below. 24-hour charts over here. You got above and below. So liquidity is starting to build on both the top and the bottom as the market begins to range. And if we look at this time frame over here, that's what we said would be the best case scenario, right? The best case scenario is that we start to form a trading range between about the $68,500 and about $74,000 region, right? Those levels are taken from the high volume regions. And we've spoken about this before. As per the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, you want to see this consolidation occur over here at the very least. It doesn't always have to happen. We spoke about that. Sometimes price can just, pretty much rip straight through and go towards the upside. But in the best case scenario, you end up seeing it play out exactly to perfection as per the textbook, right? And the textbook would tell you that once you transition from phase C, which was over here, into phase D, which is what we're going into now. So this would have been phase C. You're now moving into phase D. According to the textbook, in phase D, you should see a short-term consolidation which occurs above the high volume region over here, which we've marked out, which price is reclaimed. That is currently sitting between, $67,000 and $68,000. And you should have a couple of days of consolidation in that region, creating what's labeled as the sign of strength. And that creates the springboard effect, which in the next couple of weeks, probably sometime around mid-November, could catapult price up into phase E of the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, also known as the markup phase. That's where things get really, really heated, really, really exciting. And that's what retail would talk about as the breakout, right? The Bitcoin and crypto breakout. And that could be coming very, very soon. So timing wise, you're really looking to have most of your positions fully established in this type of a market, right? So here it is, looking at some of the key levels that we've marked out, and we're going to zoom in. We're still putting in, nothing but an uptrend over here with higher highs and higher lows. Price tracking along perfectly over there. And you can see the bulls are defending this previous week's high, right? A very significant area. And on the daily time frame, this is valuable information. Continue to study this information. Even better if you can see the bulls get back above the previous quarterly high. That will look even better for continuation and for strength, right? That confirming that this is the SOS phase that's taking place. Now, again, there's always validation and invalidation levels. If we do start to break below the previous week's high, which means losing $69,000 and falling back into the trading range over here, then that Wyckoff accumulation schematic wouldn't be invalidated, I would say, but it might be more delayed. We might have to look further towards the right side for a later breakout into the sign of strength. And you may see acceptance gained under the previous weekly high. And then you need to use this as your next key point, which is going to be the 65K region. So we're watching that very, very carefully. The 4-hour timeframes, which are obviously a lot faster moving, you can see price moving into the top side of the trading range. This is where your SOS phase tends to occur. And I've got measured out over here the golden pocket, which is taken from the low to the high, and that's coming in the 0.65 to 618. That's $68,600, right? So watch that area for support. If you do lose that, of course, you do have a little bit more support, which is coming a little bit lower into the 4-hour 200 EMA over there. So we'll continue to monitor and gauge things. I would reduce the amount of leverage that you're trading over the next couple of days to weeks leading into this election phase. This is where it's going to be ultimately tough. So I also see a question over here, what should we do when retail never comes? Doesn't really matter, right? If retail doesn't come or not, at the end of the day, the markets are going to do what the markets are going to do. Just continue to trade the chart that's in front of you. It doesn't matter, right? You don't necessarily, pretty much retail have hardly been here this cycle, yet Bitcoin has actually had a very, very strong bull run in relation to some of the previous bull runs, right? Many people might not think that, but the reason that I say this is because if you study where the halving cycle was, right? So do we have the halving cycle on here? If we study where the halving cycle was and you have a look at this, every single cycle, it's only after the halving cycle that you see Bitcoin break the all-time high. Whereas this is the first cycle ever that even before that halving cycle, before the yellow line, price had already created an all-time high. That shows strength, right, within the market. This is not a weak market. So if retail don't come, it doesn't matter, right? The institutions have done enough. You just need to be positioned in the right coins at the right time to succeed, right? So, if you are doing the pray and spray approach when it comes to trying to get into the altcoin sector and retail don't come, well, then yes, you're going to suffer, right? You're going to have an absolutely terrible time. You need to make sure that at the very, very least, you're in the strong coins where the volatility and the momentum are at, right? And we can study that. We can look at things like I showcased over here using, where is it, the Bollinger Band width percentile. There it is, the Bollinger Band width percentile. And you can see this helps you to gauge the momentum. If you have questions about this, right, and you're unsure of what I'm saying, guys, remember there is a link in the description below over here, which will take you to Whale School. And that's entirely free, right? We're still taking signups for this cohort. This is cohort number 9. There it is. Click that link. Takes you through to this. You have 4 days left to join in this cohort. Everything is explained in there, right? And then also for those of you, if you just want to trade the market, you're not looking to be an investor per se. You're not trying to be a swing trader that's buying the altcoin market and waiting for price appreciations, but simply maybe you just want to trade the trading range, right? Maybe you're looking for a more short-term approach where you're essentially doing something like this and you're marking out, where's the range high and the range low, and you're looking for longs at the range low and shorts at the range high. If you're a good trader, there is an opportunity with Bitfunded. Remember, this is the challenge. This is for the people with smaller accounts. Not only for people with smaller accounts, but this is the opportunity for people, I should say, with smaller accounts who don't have tens of thousands of dollars to put into the market and make their money through the bull run. You need to become a proficient trader on the low time frames. If you can prove that you have a successful strategy, come through and take the challenge on Bitfunded, right? You pay a small fee for the challenge. Here's the objectives and the targets that you're looking for. Let's say, for example, you take a $5,000 challenge. If you get 8% profit in stage 1, you'll move on to stage 2. Okay, you can't lose too much money. You have to make 8% profit. You can see your max loss is 10% over there on that trading account. If you lose 10%, you're out, right? Go on to stage 2. If you get 5%, which is less than the 8, of course, then you move on to stage 3, and then they give you $5,000 to trade with. Then you keep the profits. You keep the profits. And as you can see, this goes up into expert mode, right? You can even get up to $100,000 worth of funding. you're using other people's money. Like Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad Poor Dad says, use other people's money to get rich. This is one way that you can do it. These are some of the people that have been paid out, right? So we've received questions. You know how many of the people have been paid out. Here's some of the payouts. This guy got $30,000. This guy got $35,000, $7,400, $1,280, $1,563. These are the certificates from those guys. If you have any questions for Bitfunded, guys, let me know. Especially if you're in Whale Room, tag me in the traders chat. They are based in Dubai where I am, so I can easily just drive over and bring your questions to them. They're running a special now for Black Friday. If you use the link in the description below, you buy any 2 challenges and you'll get a $5,000 challenge for free, right? So let's say you don't have to use them all at once. You know, if you decide to buy, let's say the starter pack challenge at 10,000, you buy 2 of these, this will cost you $99 each. So it will cost you $200 and you have the potential to get $20,000 from that. Then they'll give you the $5,000 one with that for free. This is the Black Friday special. I hope that makes sense. All right, continuing on. So, you know, will retail come? Will retail come? That's the question. That was one of the questions that you guys asked. Well, you're putting in the order block over here on total cryptocurrency market cap. You're still putting in the high highs and high lows. Now, you obviously don't want this orange line to break down. This is a lot of pent up liquidity underneath. If this orange line breaks down, you could end up coming all the way back down to the bottom of the trading range, somewhere around, you know, I would probably say about $1.8 trillion market cap. But so long as this is moving towards the upside, the chances are that retail are slowly edging their way back into the market, right? As you witness and watch this break towards the upside, expect that's probably due to retail coming back into the market because, you know, in order to move this needle towards the upside over here, and in order to get to some of these higher price targets that we have around that $8 trillion mark, it's not going to only come from institutions, right? Institutions are mostly buying OTC, so over the counter, and they're buying through the ETFs. That's what you need to be aware of, right? So keep an eye out on that. We're waiting for the Bitcoin dominance to break down. This is also likely your answer to when retail are going to come. As soon as this starts to break down, retail are going to be on their way back. The week is not over, right? We still got 1 day and 17 hours. Let's see. This is going to be an incredibly interesting candle on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin dominance to monitor. If you do start to put in a spinning top or some sort of a reversal candle over here, you should see risk reposition very, very quickly into the market. So that's something that we're waiting for. Simultaneously, if you get a spinning top on the Bitcoin dominance chart, I would expect on the ETH BTC ratio below, you're also going to get some sort of a reversal candle on the weekly time frame over there. So keeping an eye out on that. We can have a look at a bunch of the altcoins. Here is ETH. If you're looking to long ETH USD and you don't care about the BTC pair and the long-term hold, but you're simply just looking for a trade opportunity, you know, this would be it. This is what I'd be looking for. Ascending triangle, price coming back into the pivot level. You can see the downsloping trend line over here, holding into that zone over there, and you're looking for a little bit of a move towards the upside. So let me know in the comments which coins you want to have a look at. Let's see 𝗕𝗓. 𝗕𝗓, I still think good chance that it's going to come down to 0.09. Solana pulled back all the way into this zone over here. Very, very important that this area holds the support. That is $160. You want to see Solana defend that level over there. We can have a look at a couple of the meme coins as well. Please drop your chart requests over there. Okay, I see there's some requests for ICP. I'll pull up ICP. I don't think ICP's chart looked too great the last time I looked at it, but maybe it's changed, right? Let's have a look over here. So still very, very flat, right? Very, very flat. Now, the coins that I mostly talk about to you guys, the ones that I say on repeat, those tend to be the strongest performing ones, right? So remember, you want to look towards the coins that are backed by volatility and momentum. Where there's volatility and momentum, there's opportunity, right? When something moves flat and sideways over here, you essentially have to wait for the entire total cryptocurrency market cap to rise. Because remember, a rising tide lifts all ships, right? A rising tide lifts all ships. So let's put a little ship over there. There's your ship, a rising tide. Does that look like a ship? Rising tide lifts all ships. But you can still make a lot of money if you're choosing the right coin. So ICP is going to be waiting for the rising tide. Okay, what else? Let's see. Has Retardeo been listed on TradingView yet? Let's just see over here. Because it's always easier to chart it from this side than over here. Okay, not enough price history. Let's go. We'll look at 𝗪𝗏𝗧, but first I'll mention 𝗕𝗥. 𝗕𝗥, I mentioned to you guys, one of my blue chip picks, right? Absolutely one of my blue chip picks. Look at this. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful chart over here. It keeps moving from strength to strength, right? More and more holders keep coming in. The wallets are very, very diversified, showing, a lack of whales, which is a good thing, right? You want a dispersed amount of wallets that aren't holding too much money, because otherwise, if somebody's holding a massive percentage of the supply, it increases the likeliness that they became giga rich overnight, and then they're going to take profit. This one is doing super well. Maybe this could pull a PopCat-like move, right? So keep an eye out on it. We ultimately established our position down here in whale room all the way at 1483, right? At 1483. By the way, for those of you interested in whale room, there is currently a Black Friday special. You can have a look at the link in the description below. It should take you through to this page. There is a special that's running. So that's 𝗕𝗥, right? But that wasn't the question. Which one were we looking for? We were looking for 𝗪𝗏𝗧, right? Let's go to 𝗪𝗏𝗧. I actually think that I have it over here. Let's go to this one. So 𝗪𝗏𝗧, also one of my meme coin picks that I'm holding for the long term, for the rest of the cycle. Currently sitting at $186 million market cap. Let's just wait for this to load up over there. While we wait, drop the rest of your requests over there. I see we got Grass, we got Billy, we got Hoppy. We'll have a look at Grass. I see Grass is pushing up nicely today. I think it's up to like $1.16. Is this thing going to load? Is this going to load? Let's just see, guys. Okay, well, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. I don't know why it's so slow over there. Let's go to Grass. Very quickly, let's go to Grass. Grass USDT. Here it is on the top. Okay, up 32%. We have to go on a very low time frame chart for this. Remember what I said over here. It's very hard to chart something like this. You need to view it as a trading range, level to level. There's literally nothing you can do over here. So if you are in this trade, great. If you're holding this level to level, right? That's all you can do. You can also focus on the timing. Currently, we've had 4 days of upward, or at least 4 hours of upward price action. Can't really comment much, right? This is essentially the breakout level. That's it. There's nothing I can comment. Most of you should have claimed your tokens. Remember, we were early on this, but the tokens were negligible, very, very small amounts. I think most of you probably only got a couple of $100 worth. So personally, for me, I took profits on mine. I moved it straight into meme coins. I just think better opportunity over there. This is up 30%. Meme coins are going up 100%. Okay, here it is. If we look at 𝗪𝗏𝗧, very, very strong move over here, breaking back out over here. I mean, this is going to make all-time highs pretty much today. The fact that these meme coins are doing things like this while the rest of the market is down literally shows you, right? It shows you exactly what's coming next within the next part of the cycle. Don't fade it, just accept it. This is the way the market works, right? Certain winners remain winners, right? When you pick a winner, hold on to that winner. Just keep holding it. So 𝗪𝗏𝗧 is a winner. 𝗕𝗥 is a winner. We've looked at PopCat. PopCat's a winner. GigaChad's a winner. There's a bunch of them, right? Let's go to PopCat. Let's actually see how's PopCat doing. I know GigaChad was starting to pull back a bit, so we'll check in on that one. Let's go into the daily. Okay, so PopCat definitely threatening this trend line over here. If you do break this, you do risk going down pretty aggressively. 28% move towards the downside. This is going to be your next major support, which is going to be around that $1 region. Speaking of the other one that was pretty strong but was starting to pull back is Giga. Let's have a quick look at GigaChad. Where is this? Giga. Let's just quickly search it then. GigaChad. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. Okay, Giga, strong, back up again, right? This is what I'm talking about. It's really, really tough with the increase in volatility. What you rather want to do is focus on the high timeframes for Bitcoin. Things like this, the breakout of the bull flag, the breakout of the cup and handle formation. And, don't try and trade in and out of these memes too much. Again, if you pick a winner and you do start to get these, wicks towards the downside and choppiness within the coins, don't get shaken out. Rather look towards the high time frames on Bitcoin. And as long as Bitcoin is going to go up, these are going to always go up a lot more, right? So this is essentially how you succeed in this game. Let's see Bonk. Okay, Bonk approaching the range low region. This is a very, very critical level. I said if you do start to take out those lows, then, you know, expect a move back down into 181,000 is the last 6 digits over there. All right, what else? What else, guys? Let me check in the comments. Drop your comments over there. Say, Turbo. Okay, yeah, let's have a look. We can go to Say. Let's see, Say USDT. 1 second, guys. Where? I definitely charted Say. Where has Say gone? Is it not in here? There it is. Okay. Okay, so pushing back down, this is where you're looking to scale into the long position. Observe on a low time frame. This is a daily time frame. So what I typically do is I'll watch on the, you know, let's say like the 4-hour time frame over here. And I'm just going to clean this up a little bit just so that we can see nicely. And just observe as price comes back down. If you do start to see, you know, wicks forming and signs of strength over here. So you're looking for something like this, you know, hold up above those levels. Maybe it comes into the yellow line at about 36. And you start to see those wicks develop over there. That starts to create the opportunity for the long trade, right? So that's what I'm looking at on Say personally. Okay, Rune. Rune had a very decent run. We'll go back to Rune. Let's see how Rune's doing now. Rune USDT. Okay, still strong, right? Pulled into the fair value gap. This is where we're looking for a little bit of an opportunity. This is your fair value gap. You can go on the lower time frames over there. So there it is, right? This is ultimately where you'd be looking for the major low to form. This candle pulling back over here. If you have stops below this, I'll give you the price level. If you have stops below about 547, you know, you're looking for the long opportunity for a high low to develop over here and for price to continue to push towards the upside. Okay, 𝗏𝗔𝗎. 𝗏𝗔𝗎 was one of the top performers as well in terms of meme coins. Let's go check it out. All right, 𝗏𝗔𝗎. Okay, coming back into very, very key support. So this was our little LARP lines over there that we drew. I guess you can just slightly move it up. You know, I can see the potential for maybe a W formation occurring over here. I'm going to clean that up and we'll zoom in. Firstly, coming into strong horizontal support, you do have the presence of a massive falling wedge formation, so similar to a lot of the coins that are out there. And, you know, a lot of the things are basically, I would say, you're noticing this common theme of cup and handles within the market, right? So this would essentially be like buying towards the bottom of the cup if you do start to break out, right? Then that breakout of the falling wedge tends to lead to the top. That becomes your cup. Then eventually there'll be some sort of a correction, you know, you create your handle and then you're looking for the upside move. So thinking far ahead, you don't trade off that, but that's something to consider and to look at over there. Looking at the price action over here, I mean, a hard stop would be below that candle wick that occurred. That's going to be 0.0159. Hard stop at that level over there. All right. Okay, Phantom. Let's see Phantom. Any change in the structure of Phantom? All right, let's pull it up over there. Okay, Phantom, you know, just chopping about over here. This similar to, okay, Solana, I told you about 160 it needs to hold. This would be the equivalent of Solana's 160 level. For Phantom, it's going to be 55 to 56 cents. You want to see that level hold. If it can hold that successfully, your measured move is all the way to the top side over here, which is going to be 88 cents. So if you can pick it up around that 55 to 56, you know, a move up to about 54 is not bad. A move up then to 117%, 54%, and then 117% is what you're looking at. Okay, let's have a look over here. Another one for short-term trade, you know, that might be coming into the zone. We can go here. Let's have a look. It's Foxy, right? If you have a look at Foxy, there it is. Range bound, you got your range high, you got your mid-range, you got your range low, attempting to put in a high low that's following the first break of structure. Remember, it was lower lows and lower highs. You got the break of structure over here, price pushed up. And now you're looking at that 0.786 fib level as a potential stop and reversal. So watch as price comes and interacts with this zone over here. If you do start to find some support and the break of this trend line, you know, that becomes your trade opportunity, trading up to mid-range, and then after that to range high. Remember, with Foxy, you get direct exposure to linear. Linear is an entirely entirely own chain of itself. And ultimately, if you do want exposure to linear, you can't buy the linear token, right? You would have to buy the Foxy token. So have a look at that one over there as well. What else have we got? Okay, 𝗕𝗢𝗓𝗓. Yeah, let's have a look at 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗓. I know that 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗓 took a little bit of a dip. Has it found a bottom? There's some big sellers in 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗓. Okay, so still coming down, right? But it's coming into the horizontal region over here now. You do have to psychologically prepare for the possibility that 𝗕𝗚𝗓𝗡 could drop, another 25%. That's possible. This was your breakout level. This is your prior resistance flipped into support, and you may be coming all the way back down to backtest that. I think that in terms of dollar cost averaging in over the next 60 to 90 days, you'll probably be at least profitable into the next phase of the Bitcoin breakout if you do dollar cost averaging over the next 60 to 90 days. Okay, we can go to Doge. Doge obviously also doing pretty well. Here it is. Okay, high highs, high lows. Doge pretty much leading the meme coin market right now, right? In terms of the majors, definitely leading the major meme coin market at the moment. Okay, 𝗬𝗨. Let's quickly check MOG as well. Okay, MOG kind of holding up over there, not too bad. Any other ones that we need to look at? Ponky. Okay, finding a bit of resistance coming into the range high over here. Look at those wicks that are developing. Simply put, it might mean a deeper pullback into about this 40-cent region. If you find support of 40 cents, maybe the next move up into the resistance at 60 should lead to the breakout. Okay, we'll go to 𝗬𝗨. All right, 𝗬𝗨. Okay, 𝗬𝗨 losing the mid-range. That's not a good sign. The fact that it's losing that mid-range level, this may go in for a deeper correction. Unless Bitcoin starts to move like very, very soon in the next couple of days, then maybe, just maybe, you find some support. You can deviate that level, right? But right now it is looking heavy. You have to be honest. This is looking heavy. I did warn you guys when it came into the resistance over here. I said that is your range high, and your best case scenario is to take your profit. And if it does happen to shoot through, it's fine. It's going to come back to backtest, and you'll get in at the exact same point, but with confirmation. As you can see, that hasn't happened. Therefore, this is heavy, and there is a threat that this bleeds out. All right, what else, guys? For those of you that do want more, if you're looking for chart requests, etc., remember, please jump into Whale Room. You can always ask us questions in there. This is 28 days for the Black Friday promo that's in Whale Room. And then if you haven't joined Whale Room and you know nothing about trading, then Whale School is free, right? You don't have to pay anything for that. That's entirely free. Use the link in the description below. All right, what else, guys? What else? We've done Casper. We did Casper just now. You can go back over there. Okay, Billy, Ondo. Let's look at Ondo, and then I'll go to Billy. Okay, Ondo, and we'll look at Mantra as well. Okay, Ondo, still trying to find some sort of a bottom, right? This is your major range low. You could maybe extend this a little bit further, but anywhere between about 56 cents and 60 cents is where you're looking for some sort of a range low to form over there. That's your reaccumulation zone following the break of the downsloping trend line. If you look at Mantra, Mantra has been one of the top performers, still very strong, but we need a bit more time to see what the buyers and sellers are going to do into this region. It is very, very, very choppy. If you happen to get a move down to $1.11, that's going to be a very, very good opportunity to get in. All right. Okay, 𝗕𝗢𝗓. We can look at 𝗕𝗓𝗓. I know 𝗕𝗓𝗓 is one of the new positions or new coins. Let's go over here. So 𝗕𝗓𝗓. Okay, 𝗕𝗓𝗓, 17,900 holders, $125 million market cap. And there's the chart. Looks really good, right? Big move up, creates the cup and handle, breaks out, high highs, high lows. Pullback levels. I don't know if you're going to get a pullback. This one kind of, I guess, is in the same class as FOG. If you do get a pullback down into this region over here where this cluster is that led to the breakout, probably an opportunity, but a little bit more difficult to chart on something like this. It's probably just going to consolidate. There you go. It's probably just going to consolidate. Meme coins, remember the way to trade them, map out your levels, look at Bitcoin, track what Bitcoin is going to do, and then simply just hold on for the most part. It depends on which meme coins you're looking at. Make sure the distribution is good as well on the tokens. All right, guys, that's it from me. I'll catch all of you on the next one. Hope you have an absolutely stellar day. Remember, spin the wheel to win your 2 Bitcoin on Blowfin, and then go through and try again on the Banter Bubbles where you can win another Bitcoin. So that's it from me. I'll see all of you on the next one. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day, and cheers for now, guys.